destination USA. So I think a lot of students first dream of destination to study abroad is USA. So today we'll be having all the detailed things like why exactly the US is one of the best universities holder. Apart from that, what job perspectives are there. I will talk a bit about the process, about just brief about entry requirements, what are the documents required in US processing. Apart from that, towards the end, I will take all the question. So if any student have any doubt, we'll just cover it at the last. Okay, so we'll just begin it up. So why USA? So basically it is said that US is the host to any of the profile that you have. Be it you have some heavy backlogs, be it you have low tuition fees budget, be it your academic percentage are a bit low. If you want good scholarship opportunity, if you are a brilliant student, you are expecting a lot of scholarship opportunities to be there, so yes. Apart from that, if you do not want to give GRE or GMAT at master's level, or if you are an undergraduate student, so if you do not want to go into the hustle of SAT or ACT, so yes, US is an option. Most of the students come up to me and says, sir, I am from a BCA background, BBA background, BSc background even, so can I fulfill my dream in USA? So yes, you can. A 3 years bachelor's is very well hosted in USA. Apart from that, if your English score is a bit less, if you scored a bit less in IELTS, TOEFL, even for PT or Duolingo, so yes, USA can be your dream destination still, no issues. Last but not the least, if you want any location specific universities in USA out of the 50 states, yes, US can be giving you options for all the states, no issues. Okay. So as I said earlier, US brings down options for all the profiles, so not a problem at all. Scope of recruitment for the international students, we'll just brush up through some of the job opportunities, okay, in this slide. So almost 170 students, Indian students to be specific, enrolled in 2021, okay, so that is a huge number. Apart from that, 18% of the international students studying in USA currently are from India. Okay, so that is a very good percentage ratio. 41% of international students who went for courses like science, technology or engineering and mathematics, which is also called as STEM degree. Now students, the basic thing, the basic importance of this enrolling to this type of courses is that you get a post-study work visa of 3 years. Okay, if you are going for any course apart from this STEM category, so you will get a post-study work visa of 1 year. So 41% of international students with awareness have applied to STEM category course so that they have a better opportunity for their post-study work visa. Okay, 20% of rise we have been noticing in the number of application in the year 21-22. Okay, so 20% hike from the last year, that was from 2021. Which shows that significant growth of 44% increase in the US application has only been observed from Indian market. So it shows that students nowadays are looking US as their primary and significant option. Apart from that, I saw some of the students asking for job opportunities. So US, out of the total global MNCs of 2,190, is having an origin for 719 global MNCs. So it covers approximately 1/3 of all the global MNCs that are in US. Okay, so that is a huge number. Also, 607 active unicorn companies, which is showing exponential potential for the job market. Okay, so international students are very well welcome for the job opportunities in US. Okay. Some of the insights, okay, about the US placements again. So while STEM and business courses have always been a top-notch product for US, students mostly want to study for STEM courses or engineering courses, but yes, some of the courses have shown an exponential growth in Indian market as well, like Masters of Information Systems, which is called as MIS, Business Analytics, Project Management, etc. Okay, so these courses have shown a significant increase in the number of applications as well. Okay, so just a traditional approach, like if I'm a computer science student or an engineering student, I should apply for US. So that trend has now set off. Okay, So most of the students right now are more observant and looking for better courses as well. Okay. According to one survey done by WES, okay, over 52% of international students said that the opportunity to gain work experience out of their home country was their main motive of study abroad in US. Okay, as we have discussed in our previous slide, so unicorn companies, 607 active unicorn companies, then host to almost 600 plus global MNCs. So it shows a very potential market and where the student can actually see for a good job employment. So as per the study, as you can see, 52% of students who were going for US studies, job was their primary motive. Okay. So the number of students for India planning their higher education in foreign universities, of course, continues to rise even during COVID-19 pandemic. Okay. According to a survey, 62% of students from the states were eager on studying abroad out of a sample taken out of 30,000 students. So that is a huge number, guys. Okay. So source for this information is of course Open Doors, SlideShare, US News, Quora, Pi News, and Google. Okay. So these were some insights on the US placements, US job markets. Now we will shift our demographics towards in terms of applications. So as you can see, in the year 21-22, the application increased by almost 500% as in comparison to the year 2021. So this is an exponential growth or a huge growth or spike of applications that we have seen for US market. Since the time Biden coming into the picture, so these applications which were restrained due to COVID or due to Mr. Trump, but now that effect is not there, and definitely you can see a good visa success rate which led into higher spikes in the number of applications. We have also seen a significant growth of 160% from 22-23 as well, rather than comparing to 21-22. Okay, so the market is increasing continuously, showing again an exponential trend or trend towards the US. Okay, so some of the popular courses, as you can see in masters, if you are going for masters, so mostly as usual computer science, IT, and artificial intelligence being the first preferred choice of the students. So almost 34% of the students went for this course. 26% of the students chose engineering, 15% of some of the other courses, then 8% towards business and management courses, data science and business analytics, as we have seen that these are the potentially booming courses in Indian market. So 7% of the student wants to go for these courses. Apart from that, 6% of the student went for health and pharma related courses, and last but not the least, 4% of the student went for business analytics. Okay. So again, computer science, engineering, business management, data, health pharma, or business analytics. Anything you want, US can be an option for you. When you consider popular courses in bachelor's, so out of the total size, 30% of students went for engineering. Sizable amount of 26% of the students out of the total who went there were for computer science, IT, and AI, that is artificial intelligence. 18% of the students went for certain other courses, 11% were for business and management, data science, data analytics, again 6% of the students chose this as their course, business analytics with 5%, health and pharmacy related courses 4% of the students went. Okay, so out of the total bachelor size, definitely engineering, computer science, IT, AI, business, data, business analytics again, and health and pharma are the courses. Okay. So why we are one of the best in the study abroad industry? So we have an exclusive tie-up of 234 US universities. So there are 50 states in USA. So we have a representation in 44 states. We have an extensive experience of 23 years. We have skilled, trained, experienced team which will lead and which will help every one of you for your end-to-end support. Okay. Let's discuss something about the US process flow, how exactly it works. So basically, once your profile is with us, we help you with the shortlisting. We help you with the application processes of all these universities. Later, there is a documentation process required for US universities. Different set of documents are required. So we help you within that as well. Then we help you with the follow-ups of your offer letters and so. Once you get the conditional offer letter, we help you with your financials so that your I-20 documentation is very well prepared and you get the I-20. So I-20 is basically the official offer letter based on which you can just apply to the US visa. Last but not the least, we also support you in the education loan. One of the important parameters that most of the US counselors don't support you with is the visa mock. Okay, so we help you with the visa mock preparation as well. So totally end-to-end support. So whenever you want a shortlisting, application, documentation, your offer letter, then your I-20, education loan, and towards your visa. So we help you in a complete bracket of end-to-end support. Okay. Okay, so let's go a bit quickly through the entry requirements. So what type of students can ambitiously look for US as their option? Okay, I have bifurcated the requirements into two divisions. So one has named it as mandatory requirement and second one is the optional requirement. So undergraduate part, we can see academic percentage. Even if you have 55% and above, we are happy to take your case. English proficiency, any one of the below is required mandatorily. IELTS, TOEFL, PT or Duolingo. If you are giving IELTS, a minimum of 6, TOEFL as low as 64, PT even if it is 48, we are happy to take up the case. Duolingo 100 plus. Optional requirement, if you are aiming and wanting to go for certain higher end universities, then SAT or ACT is required. Simultaneously through this, for graduate, again mandatory requirements, academic percentage, anything above 56% and above, we are happy to help you. English proficiency, again IELTS, TOEFL, PT or Duolingo, any one of them is required. IELTS if you are going for can be 6, TOEFL minimum of 71, PT 50 and above is a good score that we can consider. Duolingo if you are giving it's 120 plus. If you are looking for certain ambitious university, only then and then only we will require GRE or GMAT scores. Okay. So basically these are some of the mandatory requirements that we talked about, some of the optional requirements that we talked about if you want to go for higher end universities only. Okay. Let's talk something about your documents. What are the documents and which documents are to be submitted if you are looking US as your preferred choice of country. Okay, so if you are going for an undergraduate, so basically, or your bachelor's degree rather, so standard 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th mark sheet is required. If you are currently studying into your 12th, no issues. We will accept a predictive mark sheet as well. That will do. If you are from an IB board, you can send your official score reports to the universities directly. We will help you with the official's email address for the university. Okay, resume. LORs, again, not required by all the universities. It depends on what kind of university that you are applying for. SOP or essay, again, not required by all the universities, but yes, if you are looking for certain ranked or ambitious universities, so yes. SAT, again, as we discussed, these are not the mandatory requirements, only and only if you are going for high rank universities. Very high rank, I should say. Okay. English proficiency and passport. So these are the only documents that we will require from your end if you are applying for a bachelor's degree. Simultaneous to this, if you are going for a master's degree, SOP, I will consider this document as the most important one because it should not be plagiarized at any moment. Okay. SOP is determinant not only for your admission but also for your scholarship opportunities as well. Okay, so US basically gives you a lot of scholarship for undergraduate, but for masters you really have to be documented properly. Okay, so your document should speak actually. Okay, statement of purpose is one good document which should not be plagiarized and it should be up to the mark for getting you the admit and scholarship as well. Resume, LORs, passport, consolidated marks memorandum. If you are a recent pass out, then a provisional degree. If you are completed your degree more than 2 years, so your original degree will be required. Okay, individual mark sheets, transcripts including your backlog clearing mark sheets will be required. If you have not completed your last semester, then the mark sheet till 7th semester or second last semester will be required. Again, English proficiency scorecard and GRE or GMAT only and only if you are going for very high rank universities. Okay. So this was all about the documents that are required at undergraduate and graduate level. Okay, so I will just name off some of the universities which are very well known and are the most preferred universities by the students in India. Okay, so New Jersey Institute of Technology, Arizona State University, University of North Texas at Denton, Savannah College, University of Alabama at Birmingham, University of Arizona, Florida Tech, University at Albany, which is also known as Sunny Albany, Missouri University of Science and Technology, University of New Haven, Wright State University, Northwest Missouri State University, California State University East Bay, UC Denver, University of Cincinnati, George Mason University. So these are some of the names which most of the students want to or looking forward to apply for. Okay, so I just wanted to just highlight some of the universities, but as I said, we are tied up with almost 230 plus universities for US, so our portfolio is entirely diverse. Okay. I will also wanting to go through some of the visa process real quick. Okay, so once you get the I-20, there are 3 websites that we need to take care of. At the first instance, we have to go through a DS-160 website, which is on the link ceac.state.gov. It is basically a website, where a long 22-page form has to be filled by the student. So various basic details of you are asked, and once you submit it, you have to go on the next stage, which isustravelsdocs.com. Here you need to schedule your 2 appointments. As I want to highlight you guys that in US there are 2 different visa dates that you have to book. One is for your biometrics, where your thumbs, your retina is scanned and a photo and picture of you is clicked. Okay, so that process is done at OFC, and the process is called as biographic and digital photograph presentation. Okay, so this is the first date that you have to book. Second date is the US, for your personal interview. So you can book at any destination, be it at US Embassy, which is at New Delhi, or any of the 4 consulate like Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, or Hyderabad. Okay. Last but not the least, you have to pay the series fees, which is also called as I-901 fees of $350. Okay. So first, DS-160 of 22-page form, you just have to fill it. Then you have to book 2 visa dates, paying $160. One is for biometric and second is for your personal interview. Last but not the least, you have to pay the series fees of $350. So this is how the visa process is done. Okay. Sponsors and acceptable funds. So a lot of students ask me the question like, what are the finances that you will require? What are finances you want us to show? So any balance in your saving accounts, be it your public, private or LLC bank, is acceptable. Balance in the form of your saving account, monthly income scheme, recurring deposits in post office is accepted. Fixed deposits with banks, yes, accepted. PPF, GPF, EMPF or CMPF, EPF or CMPF are accepted. Loans from any of the type of bank like nationalized bank or private bank is fine, no issues with us. Okay, so these are all the acceptable funds. Now a lot of you might have asked what are the funds that are required. Okay, so if you are going for any undergraduate degree, so I will say roughly around 55,000 US dollars you have to show. Okay, if you are going for a master's degree, okay, so you can show roughly around 45,000 US dollars. Okay, I'm talking about USD, US dollars. Okay, I'll repeat this statement again. For undergraduate degree, go for a bank balance certificate of or a balance of 55,000 US dollars. If you're going for a master's degree, then that amount will be 45,000 US dollars. Okay. Okay, so this one is an interesting thing. So a lot of students ask me this question, like what are the job opportunities, and also the employment is diversified into 2 types. One is the on-campus employment. Second one is the off-campus employment. Off-campus employment is again bifurcated into 2 parts. One is CPT, that is curricular practical training, and second one is OPT, that is optional practical training, or you can also call it as post-study work visa. Okay, so let's discuss them in a bit brief. So on-campus employment, so you can go for any of the positions like teaching assistantship, research assistantship, fellowship, or hourly employment like food services, library. You can become an event coordinator, you can become a laboratory assistant, and a number of roles. Okay. You can work on campus 20 hours per week during the study time. You can also work full time, that is 40 hours per week during your holiday breaks, like summer holidays or winter holidays. Okay, that's how you can work. Now, off-campus employment, CPT and OPT. Curricular practical training students is nothing but you can consider it as a type of internship. Okay, Once you completed 2 semesters of your studies, that is 9 months. One semester in US studies is approximately 4.5 months. Okay, so once you study for 2 semesters or 9 months of studies is completed, so you become eligible for doing CPT. Now the basic thing for CPT is that it should be in the core of your studies. Like if I am a computer science student, my CPT has to be under computer science division only. Okay, you can consider it as an internship. It is mostly paid, and the credits are awarded to the students for doing CPT. The only catch for CPT is that its time should not exceed 1 year. Okay, so I'll just repeat this again. It is a type of internship. You become eligible after you complete 9 months or 2 semesters of your studies. But only one thing: your CPT time is not to be more than 1 year. Okay, so that is the only thing. Again, CPT can be done less than 20 hours per week, or it can be 20 hours or less than per week as well. So more than 20 hours or less than 20 hours as well you can do. OPT, again, it is very streamlined. Suppositively, your course study, whatever the course that you have chose, is lying under STEM category, that is science, technology, engineering or mathematics. So your post-study work visa will be of 36 months. Okay. If it is not, then your post-study work visa will be of 12 months. Suppose a student who is applying for say computer science or engineering or any of the course lying under science, technology, engineering, mathematics, he will get a post-study work visa of 36 months. Suppose if you are going for any course like business administration or anything related to non-STEM category, your post-study work visa will be given to you, but it will be of 1 year, that is 12 months. Okay. So these are basically the work rights that we have talked about. Some of the exceptions of US processing that you need to understand and make sure if you are applying to US processing. Okay. So these are, you can say, a reminding kind of slide. Okay. So basically there are three things basically that we need to understand: score reporting, letters of recommendation verified by the recommendees, and third is the bank balance certificate. Okay. So basically, if the university requires GRE or GMAT or SAT ACT or any of the English proficiency, that university can require official score reporting. Okay, so a scanned copy of your IELTS, TOEFL, PT or Duolingo will not suffice. In that case, you have to ask your hosting body to officially score report this to the university. Okay, so that we have to very particularly look for. Okay. Second point. Now, what exactly it is? Letters of recommendation at master's levels is required mandatorily. That's what I've told. But the recommendees have to verify. Okay. So suppose I am a student. I have submitted a LOR to the university. Perfect. Not an issue. But that recommendation has to be verified by the recommendee as well. How to do that? That is very simple. The recommendee will get official email from the university side with a link. The recommendee just have to click on that link and submit yes, I verify. So for that process as well, lot of files are not completed with due diligence. So this is an exception of US processing. Last but not the least, at the time of application, only say 5 to 6% of the universities will ask you for a bank balance certificate. At that moment, we have to give this bank balance certificate to them. Okay, so these are basically the three exceptions of US processing. Bank balance certificate again is not required by all the universities, but wherever it is required, so at that moment we have to process the application with this bank balance certificate itself. So we have to make sure that these 3 points are very well addressed and acknowledged when we are doing our application, so that turnaround time for getting the offer is really quick. Okay. Again, US provides a lot of scholarship for undergraduate level. At master's level, I have told you, like, you have to be very strong on your documentation. SOP, that is statement of purpose, will get a lot of attention from the university. Okay, so on that paper, you have to work really hard.